What's going on, everybody? Yeah, I know you all can't hear me. It's because my microphone wasn't on yet. I'm very aware. See, watch. Oh, now you can again. Now we're back. Yeah, when I turn the mic off, y'all can't hear me at all. It's pretty crazy the way that works. How's everybody doing for the second time again today? We are back for the second live of the day. We put in about 2 hours before. We're gonna do another 2 hours or so. Should lead right up to the start of Game 7. So that means you guys got lots of entertainment tonight. You have you have me, right, which is like the most entertaining, and then Game 7, like right after that, So yeah, you have me and then Game 7. I'm pretty sure that's the order of the most entertaining things you guys have going on tonight. Oh, my hair looks all fluffy today. I need a brush. Anyways, hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Again, I went and had pizza and water and mopped my house and cleaned my ceiling fan. So we've been doing all that stuff. That's pretty cool. But now I'm back to talk to y'all. So if you guys can do me a favor, if you guys are on the TikTok side, can you guys please double tap that screen? Let's get this thing up to 10,000 likes. If you're on the YouTube side, can you do me a favor? Just go up to that top and hit that like button. I really appreciate that. We're going to get this thing started, and we're going to open up the phone lines for some conversations very, very soon. Once we do that, we will have some calm conversations. We will have some hectic conversations. We will have some debate. We'll have some banter and some normal, just regular conversations. And we'll have everything in between all of those things. You never know what is going to happen when once the phone lines and everything open up. You just never know. You never, ever know. There are several things that could happen. If you guys were here in my earlier live, there are several things that could happen. So exactly, she blinded. We're going to talk to several people. So there's going to be several options of ways for you to contact me and talk to me. So, some of these people were not here on the first live, and they have no idea what we're talking about right now, by the way. They're like, why does this guy keep saying several? You have no idea. You have no idea what we're talking about, which is great. They have absolutely no idea, but that's okay. Again, welcome in, y'all. We're going to turn on these phone lines in just a little bit. This is just me BSing. Yeah, more than 3, but not 7. Or maybe is several 7. I don't think we ever figured that part out. I think we got to the conclusion that several is the exact same as the word 7. I think that's what we got. For you guys who have no idea what I'm talking about, make sure you check back tomorrow, and I'll post a video, probably just on my YouTube, but I'll post a video on my YouTube where we can talk about the word several and 7. My day's good. Like I said, I got offline after being on for a couple hours earlier, and I turned on the WNBA game. That was pretty cool, and I mopped my floors and cleaned my ceiling fan. She blinded me. Thank you so much for the subscription over there on TikTok. All right. Again, y'all, if you guys are going to want to have a conversation with me, there's going to be 2 ways that you're going to be able to do that. Oh, my gosh. I get so many missed calls. Well, once I actually get all the way up to the top of this missed call list, there'll be 2 ways for you to be able to contact me. One will be to, if you're on the TikTok side, you can hit that multi-guest button. And everyone else, you can call in at the number that's above my head. Holy crap. How many calls did I freaking get? All right, that's better. I see you guys already calling. I haven't quite opened them up yet. Just give me like 1 or 2 minutes and we will open up the phone line. So I already see you guys calling. Sorry. I will let you guys know when the phone lines open up. I'm sorry. I didn't realize people were already calling in because I had scrolled all the way to the bottom. But yeah, welcome in again, y'all. If you all can keep double tapping that screen on TikTok and going up and hitting that like button and subscribe button on YouTube, those all help to push the live out. Yes, I missed several calls, but not many. I had several calls, but not many. All right. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put the headphones on. All right. Get ready to go. Put the headphones on so I can take several calls. Get braces. I actually thought about it recently, but I can't get braces. I would have to get like that Invisalign stuff or something like that. Those braces would like cut my lip too bad. Yeah. But I'm probably just not gonna do it because I'm almost 40 and I don't really give a shit. All right, phone lines are now officially open. Oh, that's unfortunate, Zazu. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you today?
Good, and you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I'm 34.
34. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
I support Trump because, let me pull up my notes I took just a second. I took time
You
to
need
write down
notes to
some
know
notes
why
for you.
you support Trump?
It's just, let's see here. So the main biggest thing is government spending, the the reduction of federal bureaucracy and spending. That's just ludicrous. Let's see here. What do you think about that?
I don't know if you know what you think about that. It sounds like you're just reading off some notes. I don't know. What do you think about what you just said?
Well, I think it has many good bulletins, many points on here that our taxes have paid for so many years that those Department of Government Efficiency has discovered for many of us that expose the left of how much money they've spent overseas and different stuff like that. Just don't agree with our taxes paying for that kind of stuff overseas, and
Is that
yeah.
like discovered like the same way that Columbus discovered America? Is that like that type of discovered? Where like it was already here and people were already here and then he was like, I discovered this, and it's like, did you really? Like, I mean, people were already here. That kind of feels like the type of discovering that you're talking about.
Well, I think that discovery has always been there. It just hasn't been. It really hasn't been really looked into. Like there should be some kind of I don't know what you call it, but where it keeps governments honest. Where
You mean like an audit?
yeah, like audits. Yeah,
Like the
like
thing we do every
just
year?
well, that's the thing. Like those audit companies, actually, they're not even companies. They're like um, bureaucrats that get paid and get paid to look other ways.
So you
Now
want
the
people to
those
audit the government that don't get paid? Because I don't think you're going to get very good people.
no, boss. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but I'm saying like all the spending on government that's allocated to the wrong people, not to the people here in America that are actually struggling,
Sir,
but
sir,
like
sir. An audit
overseas.
doesn't mean that the government stops sending people, so it decides where the money is going. It just makes sure that the money that Congress appropriates goes to the right spot. And since Congress appropriated all of that money, and Congress has been bipartisan for quite a long time now, all of that money was sent there by Republicans and Democrats, and it went exactly where it said it was supposed to go. Yeah. You didn't discover it, you just had somebody read for you.
That that may be there may be some truth to that, but ever since Doge has come out and discovered many things that are just funding for like um, maybe I shouldn't disclose that over the phone like this, but our taxpayer dollars are paying for like um, uh, many things that many wouldn't agree with. But
Well, if
yeah,
many wouldn't
that's just,
agree with it, then many should vote in better representatives.
you are correct about that. I agree with that. That's just
Yeah. See,
that's
it's not that
unfortunate.
Doge is coming in and going, "Hey, here's all this money that you guys didn't know about." All they're doing is going, "Hey, all of this money that both the Republicans and the Democrats have been sending money to, and that you didn't take the
Mhm.
time to look into because you didn't actually worry about politics unless you're told to worry about politics. Here's all of the stuff that's all out in the open right now that was already out in the
Yeah.
open you just didn't look at, right?" And then Doge went ahead and told you a bunch of stuff that was, that was being money was being spent on that most of it wasn't even true.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
and
I
so
mean,
now,
I agree.
but what you should
I
have
agree
done,
that
but what I'm
I
saying is
agree
what
that
you
both
should have
parties are
done.
guilty of it.
No, no, what you should have done at that point is you should have then looked into what stuff, what our government was actually spending on, but you didn't actually look into it even then. You still just let someone lie to you. So you didn't actually discover anything. That you should have learned the lesson. The lesson should have been, we can look into these policies, we can look into this legislation and see where money is going. And you can do that whenever. But you chose not to do that. You chose just to, again, trust the government to tell you what the government is spending money on, and now you still don't know.
You do have good points there on that. The both parties are guilty of it. It's just the fact that it's been going for so long that both parties need to come together and like decide where we should spend money more here into our people that are actually struggling here
You mean places
than
like Iran?
overseas.
We should spend more money in places like Iran?
What do you mean, Iran?
I don't know. That's where Donald Trump's
Some
been
like
spending our tax dollars lately.
no, I'm talking about like I'm not talking about like what's happened with Iran recently, but there may be um, lots of money spent there as well. But like, yeah, I agree. You're right. Both parties are guilty of it. I'm not putting any fingers on one party like Democrat Party
But
or
this is why
Republican. Both
you
of them are.
support Trump, sir. If you're saying you support Trump because both parties are bad, that doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm not saying that both parties are bad. Both parties are equally guilty in their own thing. I think that both parties need to come together. I am fully supportive of Trump. He's more
He's much better at spending
focused
money
on.
overseas. Yeah, I agree.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's another thing that there needs to be like a government audit on Trump as well to see where our money has been going
How
there
could
as
he? How could
well.
there be a
Like,
government audit? He fired all the people that audited him.
yeah, see, I didn't know that.
Like
That
first thing he did.
yeah, see, I mean, like, but then again, like each side has their own convoluted party where it favors its own party kind of thing. So there's really no way of finding any honesty in
Awesome. Can you please explain to
any
me how bombing another country that didn't that was just chilling at the moment, right? Who was trying to negotiate with us? How bombing another country that was trying to negotiate with us in order to raise Americans' gas prices? Can you please explain to me how that's America first?
well, I don't think that's putting America first, but there's been many times where, if you want to go to the Iran subject, many times where President Trump and uh, President Trump has given Iran the options to come and settle down and do some kind of negotiable deal, and they kept, not not coming to the table with any kind of deal.
They
So
literally had
I think,
another meeting to go over it. Literally, what, 5 days before Israel attacked them, or 5 days after? Like literally, they were in between two meetings of literal negotiations.
well, negotiations in favoring of who though? Like, is
It's a
Iran getting favored,
negotiation.
or
They're
is
not favoring anyone. They're negotiations. Or are you just saying that Donald Trump is such a bad negotiator that he can't figure out how to do a negotiation?
well, look, I mean, that's the thing. Trump is not a negotiator. He's a businessman. He's trying to do everything he can for the people of America and Israel, obviously. When you have a country like Iran that's been chanting death to America and death to Israel, and like how are you supposed to take that lightly? Like when they keep
You
pushing
just do it the
the
same way
millions
that we've been doing it for decades when they've been doing it.
decades, have got right, and they've gotten us nowhere, absolutely nowhere
Exactly. It
with
got us
Iran.
nowhere. It didn't get us into a war. It didn't get us with the Strait of Hormuz shut down. It didn't get us in now Iran directly threatening Americans. It didn't get us into any of those things.
You're correct, but we don't know the outcomes of the probabilities of maybe happening. We
No, no,
can't
we don't know
we
what's
can't
maybe
have.
happening. I'm telling you what's happening right now. We bombed their nuclear facilities. Now they are threatening directly the United States of America, and they've already voted to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which will raise gas prices across the board for the United States. So when I'm saying that, like, we know what happens to that, because that stuff wasn't happening before. And again, our intelligence said they didn't have a nuclear weapon. So I don't know. Do you think
I mean,
going to war is the because somebody called us a name or something that going to war is the correct answer to that?
dude, this has been happening for decades now. It's not just calling names. It's been like many different things that's been piling over and over and over. That Iran just takes us as a joke with past previous leaders, as they have never taken us seriously. Now that Trump is here, like
I'm sorry. You
he's
mean like
actually,
Obama when Obama negotiated the Iran nuclear deal, which literally
yeah,
had
and funded their
inspectors
nuclear
going in
deal. Yeah,
there
you're right.
making sure
Yeah,
they didn't
funded.
have nuclear weapons? You mean like that?
No, he funded them like all sorts of things, kind of like
He
Biden
didn't
most
fund
recently
them, sir. He released some sanctions in order for them to denuclearize.
released some sections where they can be funded through this propaganda that they're trying to build their own nuclear powers. That even China and Russia has agreed, like, hey, Iran may
No,
not
no,
be
sir.
very
We were
stable.
able to send inspectors in there to make sure they were only using it for nuclear power and they weren't using it for weapons. But Donald Trump pulled us out of that deal. There, and after Donald Trump pulled us out of that deal, that's when they started enriching us further, enriching further.
Well, that's the thing that's just like saying negotiating with terrorists. That's something you should never do, especially with when you're in the land of the free, home of the brave. Like, and this other party is chanting "Death to America," to "Death to
Sir,
Israel."
sir,
Like,
sir, sir. Someone chanting something doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not 5. Okay? People calling me names, I don't care.
okay, well, okay, I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying. It's a little childish of that, but like for so many years, like Iran proxy funding different parts of the world to kill American civilians, American soldiers. That's that's beside
Well,
of calling
if
people names. And
that's the case, then why did we not attack any target of anybody doing that?
because Iran, we need to cut them
No,
off
no.
their funding to.
If the problem is that you're mad about Iran funded terrorist groups like Hezbollah attacking and unaliving U.S. Soldiers and stuff like that,
Mhm.
then why did we not attack a single target that would help that stop?
Okay, be more specific. Like, what kind of target are we talking? Because
You
it's just
name it.
many.
Literally, I think
It
almost any other target in Iran would have been better if that was your goal.
Well, when it comes to kind of war like this, you got to also worry about civilians. That's why I'm greatly grateful that they didn't. Well, I can't say they've killed civilians, but like as far as we know, as far as we've been reported, like far few civilians that
Sir, you're not answering my question. Listen to what I'm saying, sir. If the problem with Iran is that they're unaliving American soldiers, right, through
Mhm.
their proxies, then why did we
Mhm.
not attack a single target that would have prevented that from happening in the future?
Because that's literally impossible, brother. I get your question. It's just
Gotcha.
literally
So
impossible to.
literally, your entire thing about but they're funding proxies and chanting shit. It literally means nothing. Like, because that has nothing to do with the attack that we put on Iran whatsoever. And
Well,
apparently, it's
hold on.
impossible.
Hold on. So I called in for originally for government spending, but somehow we over to this Iran thing.
Yeah,
But
because it's not very good government spending if we're spending money on Iran. If the entire point of Doge was
no,
America
no, no,
first.
no.
No, hold on, sir. The entire point of Iran, the entire point of Doge was we're going to be America first. We're going to put America first. We're going to put American interests first. We are going to be isolationists. We are not going to spend all of this money on foreign wars. We're not going to do all these, this money going overseas to American tax dollars, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada, and then within 6 months we're spending money on a new foreign war. So how is that helping our government spending? Isn't that what you called about?
I'm talking about internal spending, not like military wise. I'm talking about like government spending that they haven't disclosed with us for so God knows how long, ever since the Biden administration. That's that's just not right.
Again,
Like
sir, I already explained to you that that money is public record. Okay. All of those dollars are public record that you could have looked up whenever. We already went through this part first, sir. We already went through this part of the conversation where I showed you that at any point in time, you could have looked up that money. You chose not to.
I mean, you probably have a good point there. I just
I know you already said that because we've already gone through this part.
right.
Yeah, but
But yeah,
government
like
spending right now is at a record high.
okay, what makes you say it's like record high? Because as far as I know, things have calmed down ever since Trump has gotten in.
What is calm down?
Well, I know fuel prices used to be over $4 a
Fuel
gallon, just
prices
regular
aren't
fuel.
government spending.
I'm okay. You're right. You're right. It's not government spending, but ever since Trump has gotten in, things like fuel prices, groceries, things like that has calmed down a little bit since the Biden administration's been in there funding like different proxies of different parties around the world that affect us no way of our people here in the homeland of the United States.
Yeah. Again, the only thing Donald Trump had actually going on for him was fuel prices, and that's about to be over very, very soon.
Why? We're self
Because
sufficient
we
in
just
oil
bombed
and
Iran,
yeah, but we're not
and they're
depending
shutting
on
off the
Iran for
Strait
our
of
fuel.
Hormuz, which like 25% of the world's oil goes through.
Okay, the rest of the world might be affected, but we maybe get like maybe 10, maybe 12, 15% tops from that part of the
Sir,
world, but we won't be.
if we got 3%, your gas prices go up higher. You're saying 10, 15%, that's freaking massive.
I mean, there may be some truth to that. It might go up a little bit, not as high as what Biden has been, over $4.30 from my experience, regular gas. But yeah, now it's like $3.40. It's not as much as I like it to be lower, but
By the way, the answer is about
prices of
7%.
groceries, groceries, just
Sir,
being able to
you're not
survive.
talking about government spending. You're talking about consumer product costs. Okay, you're talking about inflation. You're talking about CPI. You're not
Okay,
talking
well,
about
doesn't
government spending.
government spending eventually does you trickle down to the little people like you and I that when it comes to like survival, really? Wouldn't you say so?
There are certain aspects that can, but that is not what we're talking about. You're saying Doge is in here, freaking saving government spending. They're not. Government spending is higher. Okay, that's what you said. You said you liked it because government spending was going to be lowered by Doge when government spending is now higher. Okay,
I like
and
it
it doesn't
okay.
matter. It doesn't matter if freaking we even reduce our spending, which we haven't. Okay. If oil prices start going up due to this attack, it doesn't matter what kind of government spending we're going to do. It's going to affect consumer prices across the board.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I get it. I get where you're coming from. I'm saying that like the spending right now that we're doing is much more prevalent to what it needs to be done when it comes to that part of the world where it comes to Iran. I get it. Spending may have gone higher, but yet again, I believe it's being spent to a better purpose in the long run for the rest of the world to prosper and not, have Iran like a fucking psychopath with the crazy red button to bomb every part of the world that they please, because they're not Muslim.
Yeah,
Nothing
so
against
you
Muslims, but
you do realize that again, our own director of national intelligence said they didn't have a nuclear weapon and they weren't even close. And now I think it's the under chair for the Securities Council of Russia said that there's a possibility that they're going to give them nuclear warheads now. So if that's the case, then they are now closer to having a nuclear weapon than they were before.
okay, well, that's a if, ands, or buts there. Really, we don't really know that because if you look at Russia right now, they're talking about joining in, but they've been caught with their pants down with Ukraine right now. They've utilized all of their, well, not I shouldn't say all, but like majority of their firepower, and they're just
Sir, I'm not making a statement on whether Russia has the forget. You do realize that Russia has nuclear warheads, right?
what? Yeah, they do. I
Okay,
agree
you
with
do
that.
realize that they do have the ability to give them to Iran, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So if they're
But
saying they will give nuclear warheads to Iran, then that makes Iran closer to having nuclear weapons than they were before they attacked. We attacked.
I don't I don't think Russia is that low of IQ to give their nuclear weapons to Iran, where Iran's so happy and so giddy about utilizing this like that
I
because
didn't
they're
say they were
not
going to
all
utilize them.
there.
I said they're sir. What I'm saying is that they already had intelligence to say that they didn't have nuclear weapons to begin with. So if they didn't have nuclear weapons, okay, and now they do, now they have a chance of someone giving them to them, then how is that better?
Okay, I see what you're saying. It may not be better in the long run, but it sends a message to Iran and the rest of the world, like, hey, you've been warned, you've been given this time. We're nobody to be, you know, pushed around like this because we are the world leader when it comes to peace. And uh, when you're
So
looking at it this way, like the backyard full of dogs, we're the top dog, and then
yeah.
when their little
So
fucking
what you're
yapper like Iran
saying
comes around,
is right before this attack. So as with Donald Trump as the president, Iran thought that America was weak and could be pushed around.
previous administration, yeah, that's how it's
No,
been.
not from the previous administration. We attacked them yesterday, which means you're saying we
Correct, yeah.
had to do that so they knew we weren't weak. So you're saying on Friday we were weak.
The rest of the world has looked at us as fucking peons, my brother.
Sir, we are the most powerful economy and military in the world. Nobody looks at us like we're peons. We are literally the strongest.
I
You
I
think
agree with
Iran was
you.
just sitting around just be like, I think we could take them?
Nah, that sounds a little outlandish. You're right there. But like, what would you do if you had a bully out there in your school backyard, constantly, doing all these rumors about beating you up and whatnot, taking your lunch, and what are you supposed to do to shut him up eventually? Like you ain't gonna take
No,
it, are
you could
you?
just let the bully sit there and just be a bully. He ain't hurting nobody. And honestly, we're usually the bully. So, I mean, if you want to, by your logic, a whole bunch of countries should have bombed us a long time ago.
But would you? So you would let the bully just talk and prepare, so that way they can beat the brakes off you eventually?
Sir, Iran was nowhere close beating the brakes off the United States.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right there. I mean, I'm just saying, for an example, a backyard bully, like a
Sir,
yard
we're
full
the
of dogs.
bully. Sir, do you not? We're the bully.
How are we the
In
bully
this
when we?
scenario, we're the bully. We're the one who
How are we
goes
the?
into everybody else's country for regime change and fucking, try to, bring democracy or bring
Because
American.
it's
We're the
against.
bully. We're the ones who do that. So literally
Call
by your example, every other country should be prepping to bomb the US to take out the bully. Because we're the bully.
I don't think we're the bully. We're the piece that everybody looks to for peace. How are we the bully
Sir, where
when
have we
we're
created peace since World War II?
yeah, everywhere part of the world. Like yeah, I understand. Like we
Oh,
haven't been in a
yes.
war with
Yes.
Germany since World War II,
Venezuela,
but
Guatemala, Afghanistan. Somalia. Man, we create like so much peace, guys. Like we do. Like peace is pretty much our specialty. We just
well,
Korea, Vietnam. We just create just the most peace.
in the end of in the long run, yes, I do believe that because I personally come from southeastern Europe, okay, where me and you talking like this is not allowed. I and you would get arrested at that part of the world. Here in the land of the free, home of the brave, the United States of America, we can do that and we can have a different opinion. Anywhere else in the world, you don't have
Sir,
that.
I'm not saying that we don't have freedoms or that we don't have freaking things in our country that others don't have. That has nothing to do with the fact that we're not good at creating peace in other countries. Like, sir, saying that we have the ability to have conversations like that is like, that's great. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that when we go and put our nose into other countries' business, it never creates peace. It always creates chaos. Okay? No country is ever better after we've left bombing the hell out of them. Okay? No country is better
Look
than
at
that.
Japan, brother.
Huh?
Look at Japan.
I said
Look at
since
Japan,
World War
brother.
II, sir. Have we bombed Japan since World War II?
No, we have not. No.
Okay, World
But
War
look at
II
Japan. They're
ended
doing great.
80 years ago, and we've probably been in another 24 countries since then.
I would say we've been more than that. Only two maintain peace around the world, brother. It's not really like trying to enforce like our ideology on people. We're just maintaining the peace. Like we'll I don't know how you feel about Afghanistan, but we've tried to maintain peace there. But we all know how that went.
Yes, peace through bombings. The best kind of peace. That's how I prefer to make peace is by dropping bombs
Well,
on people.
look at what we did to Japan. Look what kind of peace we
Sir,
created there.
if
You know,
you
like
have to revert back to the 1940s to find your best example of us creating peace, then your argument isn't doing very well.
in the long run, yeah, I see your point. Okay, um, you're right. That kind of violence does not, equate to any kind of peace in the long run. But if you have a backyard bully around the world that pushes their agenda on their people, and then pushes their ideology against people, takes their own people's lives away and their own people's humanitarian rights away, then yeah, other
You
parts of
mean
the
like
world
the
are gonna look
right
at
to your own body, like the United States is taken away from our people and has left them to die in our own country?
well, are you
Or the
talking
right
about
to have
abortion or
health
what are you talking
or the
about?
right to have health care where we don't even where people are left to die because they can't afford the health care that they need? You mean like that?
Dude, here in America, you're gonna get health care regardless if you can afford it or not. Good luck trying to get that anywhere parts of the world.
Yeah, you can
You
just
ain't
get
gonna get
cancer
that.
meds. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, anywhere part in the world. Let's say I broke my leg here in America. I could go
Sir,
get
I'm
treatment and
very
get my leg
familiar with how that
repaired.
works. There are tons of rights in this country that we don't have, and there are tons of people who die in this country by preventable things that our government could stop all the time.
What?
By your logic here, other countries should be very quick to invade us, and I don't think we want that.
What? Why are you so hateful towards America, brother?
I love my country more than anything. What I'm hateful towards is ideology like this. Is the rhetoric like yours that says that for some reason, because other countries aren't like us, that we need to stick our nose in every single other fucking country's business to create peace through bombs? Okay. I love my country. I want my country to actually succeed. I want things in our country to be better, like to have free healthcare and for people to have the rights to their own bodies. That's what I fucking want. Okay.
Right.
That's what I want. All right.
What?
But going in and just bombing someone because another country wants us to wants to rope us into a war does not help any American. Okay? It doesn't help anyone in the United States. All right? If
So
we had chosen through our own intelligence to do something against Iran because we felt that it was a threat to the United States, then that's fine. Okay? That's not what happened. Netanyahu, who has claimed that Iran is a week away from a nuclear weapon since 1996, okay, just drug us into their war. Okay? That's what happened. All right. So let's stop with this. Oh, we needed it for this. We needed it for that. We need no. That was like
well,
no. All right. That was not necessary at all. But
here's my thing where I'm getting at though. Can I call you by your name? I've never got your name. I'm sorry. I ran into
yeah,
your
just
YouTube
go.
channel.
Yeah, you can just call me Paulie. But I have been talking to you for like a half an hour, and so I am going to move on. But I'll let you make your last point.
Paulie, so I'm not saying that Iran is a bad place. I'm saying that
I am.
uh, their regime infiltrates their people's rights, like women are not let
So does
to be on their
Russia's.
own.
So does North Korea's. And Donald Trump is trying to make deals with Russia all the time, saying how he knows Putin so well and he can, go over there and negotiate with him and they can sit at the table and do all of this sort of stuff. Russia does the exact same thing to their people. He brags about going and meeting with the leader of North Korea, right?
So if
And
you
North Korea
let me
does
ask you this,
way worse stuff to their people than Iran does. He was just in Saudi Arabia not too long ago. Saudi Arabia does that shit to their people also. And he was freaking all buddy rubbing elbows with the crown prince of Saudi Arabia.
Paulie, let
Okay.
me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. You're the president of the United States. What would you do differently to make world peace when it comes to Iran, China, Russia, Ukraine? What would you do? What would you be your
You want
first
me to
step?
give you an entire foreign policy breakout for every major competitor of our country? I just said I'm moving on, dude. I'm not going to go through a 15-minute rant of freaking foreign policy agenda for the entire world. Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem with like the US and the way people think. And maybe it's like, the internet or something like that, right? Where people are just like, "Oh, just tell me what you would do for peace," as if that's a quick answer. As if that's
You're
some
right. It's not a
answer.
quick answer.
As if
But
that's
you're
just
right.
something that you can just answer and be like, "Oh, well, I would do ABC for China and ABC for Russia and ABC for Iran." Like these are complicated foreign policy decisions. Okay, incredibly complicated that require experts in these fields to help people make the right decisions. Okay,
Mm.
yeah. What is not helping is just bomb Iran, even though our entire intelligence apparatus says that they don't have nuclear weapons.
As far as we've been exposed to,
Okay. Anyway, sir,
you
I'm moving
know,
on to the next guest. Like I said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay.
thank you for your time, Paulie. I appreciate you. I've been watching your videos, and I appreciate what your bulletins you brought up, and it's opened up my mind in a lot of things. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You have a good one. All right, we're gonna keep this thing going. Appreciate y'all being here. We got some super chats. Look at Netanyahu's press brief on Iran's nuke archive. Why? So he can lie to me again. Your tone is toxic. Just let people talk. Oh my God. Always be kind. I don't care what you think, and I'm sorry that you got yelled at too much as a child. That you think that this tone is toxic. Polly is biased and not good information. Combat vet. Thank you for your service. You don't know what you're talking about. Cool. All right. Now we're gonna move on to the next caller. Thank you guys so much. Also, we have like 1 more minute to hit the sub goal over here. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Don't worry, y'all. I can back up literally whatever information I say. Literally all of it with like so much data. Like an obnoxious amount of data. Also, if you guys would like to support, I do have super chats open on YouTube, like I said before. And if there's super chats, I'll put them on the screen. We'll talk about them and have a conversation. Hopefully less whiny this time. That was a lot of whining. If you, also, I do have my live gift goal going on my TikTok. Holy crap. And if you guys, also I do have my Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like my name. I really appreciate you guys. Breaking news: oil prices surge in the wake of U.S. strikes in Iran, with U.S. oil futures jumping 3.6% Sunday to about $76.47 per barrel. Well, that didn't take long. Anyways, hi, how are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I'm in my 30s.
Okay, awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes and no,
Okay.
if that's an answer.
Yeah, it seems to be the answer I get like all the time, which actually makes me like really happy. Because
Okay,
I used
let
to
me say
get,
this.
I support Trump, and now every every person is just like, I kind of support him, I kind of don't. Which I mean makes me a lot happier because you guys are starting to realize that you made a bad decision, so that makes me pretty happy.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't vote. Never vote. Never care to.
Oh, well then, I don't want you here. Have a wonderful day. All right, we're gonna move on to the next caller. Hello, how are you today?
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. How old are you?
Insane.
29.
You say 49?
29.
29. Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Awesome. Why's that?
Are you familiar with the Room 40 Act?
No.
You don't know what that is?
I just said no.
So how are we supposed to have a debate if you don't even know what the Room 40 Act is?
I don't know. I guess we're not going to have a debate then.
It's room for these nuts in your mouth, nigger.
Oh. Okay. Oh, where'd you go? Thought he was trying to hit on me. I don't know where he went. Guys, I know that you Trump supporters, a lot of you guys are like really closeted. It's okay. All right. You guys can just come out and say you're hitting on me. It's a lot easier. Hello, how are you today?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
30.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Awesome. Why is that?
I think he's doing a good job.
A good job at what?
Deporting illegal aliens, focusing on the American people.
All right, awesome.
At this
So,
point, helping Israel against Iran. Yeah, I think he's doing a good job.
yeah, awesome. So, if he's so good at deporting what you call illegal immigrants, then why is he not on pace to even catch Biden last year?
Well, yeah, he's only been in office for a few months.
Well, he's been in office about 5 months now. Yeah, and
Yeah,
over those
a
5
few
months
months.
from last year,
Biden was in office for
no, sir,
4
he's
years.
just not on pace to even catch Biden from just last year. From just last year, if you take up until June of last year and compare it to up till June 22nd of this year, Trump is significantly behind Biden.
What's your problem with supporting illegal immigrants?
Sir, I
from
didn't
the
say
United
I had a
States?
problem with it. I said if you're going to support someone, then why are you supporting someone who was not as good at Biden at deporting?
Well, he's doing what he can. He's putting people in charge to do that job, and I think he's doing a good job at it.
Well, if he's doing a good job at
You
it,
asked
sir,
me
then
why I support
why
him,
didn't
and
you
that's why
just...
I support him?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some logic out of you here, sir. If Biden was better at deporting, then why do you support Trump for doing something that Biden was doing, just not as well?
Biden wasn't doing that. Biden opened the border to anybody that wanted to come in.
Sir, just last year, Biden deported over 700,000 people, and currently, right now, Donald Trump isn't even at 300,000.
What source are you getting that from?
Customs and Border Protection.
Let me double check that. I don't think that's true at all. I don't think Biden deported almost anybody.
Nope, he actually had more deportations in his term than Trump did in his prior 4 years.
Yeah, but see, y'all get mad about Trump wanting to deport people, but now you're using Biden as a comparison for deporting people.
Who said I was getting mad at Biden for deporting people?
No. People are mad at Trump for deporting people.
Well, yeah, Donald Trump is deporting people to foreign
And now you
prisons.
want to
He's
use
deporting people.
Biden as a
Sir,
comparison
Donald
for-
Trump is deporting people to foreign prisons. Donald Trump is deporting American citizens. Donald Trump is deporting people that are here legally.
deporting
Donald Trump is
criminals to foreign prisons.
Donald Trump is freaking ripping freaking people away from their immigration hearings when they try to do the process correctly. And he's ripping them
never
from
try
their
to do it
hearings from
correctly.
being able to do it correctly and deporting them to different countries. Okay, I don't have a problem if Donald Trump freaking sits at the border and makes sure that people don't come in and has good border security. I think that's very important for our country, and I think that deporting those people that show up illegally, I think that that's also very important for our country. But I also think that if you're here and you're trying to do things legally and trying to do things the right way, that the U.S. government should leave you alone. And Trump doesn't agree with that. Trump is the person that's saying that people that work here and are trying to contribute to our society need to be sent back. That's why Stephen Miller told him to stop, told ICE agents to stop going after criminals and to start going to Cardenas markets and Home Depots.
There were 685,000 deportations under Biden's last year. You were actually correct about that.
I
That's
know.
a lot of deportations.
Thank you for being a Trump supporter and going and looking up to see that I was right, because a lot of people, when I say these things, think I'm lying.
No, you were 100. A quick Google search will get you the information you need, and you were absolutely right about that.
I do. No, I will say I do appreciate the fact that you looked it up and you admit that. That really does mean a lot to me. It seems like, just thought I'd let you know that.
Now, I also support Trump supporting no tax on tips, no tax on overtimes. That is a big thing of mine. I'm a blue collar worker, and I don't know how realistic that is, but I do support that if that's something that can go through Congress and the Senate. And right now it seems like it's having a big problem, which I understand. I don't know how it would actually work out to the American people. If it does, that would be great. That's another reason why I support him.
Yeah, you know what? I don't even have a big argument against that. Well, I guess I have a couple arguments against it, but let's be clear. Do you know whose policy that is?
Whose policy is that?
That's a Bernie Sanders policy.
It's a good policy. I've never had a problem with Bernie Sanders. I always liked Bernie Sanders.
It's just crazy. Why the best policy from Donald Trump is actually a policy from one of the most left politicians in the United States. Like, it's crazy how policy from like super like left people tend to like. It's pretty crazy.
Well, see, I'm more of like a social liberal, but like I'm more conservative on other ends of the spectrum. But like when it comes to social values, I'm pretty liberal, and I'm pretty sure that's how most people are. But I think the reason why a lot of people support Trump, speaking for myself specifically, is he's not afraid to just let you know what he thinks, and he doesn't really care what you think about him. And also, I heard you talking about like Putin and everybody with that last guy you were talking to, who really I don't think he had an and either way on the spectrum. I don't think he knows anything about any type of politics, but I think it's important to have a leader that's not so much feared by other leaders that we're adversaries against, but maybe a little respected.
Donald Trump's been laughed off the UN General Assembly floor. I can pull up videos of him being laughed at by pretty much every politician that exists.
I understand. Lately, I don't think he's been carrying himself as well as he did in the past. But again, like we said in the beginning, he's only been in office about 5 months. He hasn't been there long enough. I'm sure people are going to laugh at him, blah, blah, blah. But it does also take time for policies to get
that was from his last term. That was from his last term. That wasn't even this term.
I do think he is respected on a world stage.
No, he's not.
I think he is respected a little more than a man that was clearly full of dementia. I think we can all agree with that. And there's nothing we could have done in that situation. But now, we have a guy who's not going to tolerate disrespect. I hope eventually he is in the business of denuclearizing the entire world. I think we all need to.
Sir, the only reason that Iran is even able to enrich it the way it is because of Donald Trump. He's the one who
Well, I
allowed for
don't think
this.
we're going to have a problem with Iran anymore. I think Israel has taken care of that,
We
which
didn't have a
I know.
problem before.
Right. Well, I think that's that's an opinion. That's subjective. I don't.
That's the opinion of Donald Trump's director of national intelligence, who agreed with pretty much every intelligence agency on the planet.
Well, I think it is very important that Israel does not have nuclear weapons, and I don't support Israel killing children at all. I am not on that side at all. I think I think Netanyahu is a problem. I think he needs to be taken care of. I think he needs to be voted out of office. And until that happens, I just don't want to see American boots on the ground. And if they are on the ground, then Donald Trump lied to his constituents who voted him into office, and I think it's going to be a rough 3.5 years. But at the same time, I don't see Donald Trump putting people on the ground in Iran. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Iran is already crippled to a point. But, again, I think Netanyahu is a problem. But I do support Donald Trump and whatever he wants to do going forward, because he is our president. And we have to, at this point, what are we going to do?
Be
We have
critical
to
of our
support our
politicians the way
president.
our American system is designed to be.
Well, let's
To
talk about
exercise and
let's talk about
flex
the
the
LA protests. Let's talk about that.
Why?
That's a problem. That's not how.
No, it's not.
That is not how you protest.
That wasn't a problem until Donald Trump made it a problem. It's actually very similar to Iran, to be completely honest with you. It wasn't a problem. Okay, it was a mostly peaceful protest with very small amounts of looting and some automated cars being flipped, right? Very small issue. And Donald Trump deployed the National Guard and made it a much bigger issue. Okay, the LAPD, prior to deploying the National Guard, was congratulating the protesters on how peaceful they were.
Right, but when they start getting rocks thrown from overpasses at them and they can't support themselves, they have to ask for help from somebody.
Sir, no, they have to ask for help.
To go help them?
There was 300 protesters. There's 9,000 sworn in LAPD officers. If they needed the help, they would have asked for the help. Okay?
I've just seen article on top of article about them. They're literally begging for help.
Who?
They don't have enough help.
Who?
And, well, what I'm telling you is when I open my phone, it always goes. I have a Metro phone, right? So when I open my phone, it goes to like the Metro News app, and every time I open my phone, it shows me an article against the current administration or against Trump, basically shitting on the it's like it's media slander, and it's always about how he's dealing with something or dealing with this or dealing with that, and constantly, even with that rhetoric, I'm still seeing the LA Police Department asking for help.
Who?
Why would they?
Because again, the
why would they send people in
LAPD
unless
chief
they were
came out
asking for
very
help?
specifically and said, "We do not want the National Guard here. They are hurting us, not helping us." So who's asking for help?
The videos though of them like shutting down 10, 12 blocks of Los
So the
Angeles.
entire thing when Donald Trump deployed the National Guard was contained to less than 5 blocks in downtown LA.
I'm just
entire
saying,
protest.
If I was the mayor of Los Angeles and I seen that going on, I would deploy the National Guard myself.
Okay, but again,
I would
sir,
shut the whole fucking thing down.
there is
immediately.
less people than a tenth of the LAPD. If you have 9,000 sworn officers, almost 20,000 that are at your call from surrounding counties, not including including Los Angeles Sheriff's Department and California State Police. If you have all of that and you have the entire thing contained to 5 square blocks and you have more than enough people to handle everything going on, then why would you bring in the National Guard, who again, they're pulling people from things like drug interdiction and forest fire prevention. Why would they do that?
But if they're pushing people, if they're pushing towards the protesters and they notice that if they push towards the protesters, they get violent. Obviously, they're going to stay back, and they're going to let these people do what they want. And what they're doing is they're destroying cars.
Not destroying cars.
They're destroying their entire.
Not destroying cars.
Oh, I know. Cars are cars. I get it. But somebody bought that car, you know?
Sir, I mean? No, it wasn't somebody bought that car. They called an automated car. Google bought that car, dude.
Well, I mean, if there's somebody's car on the same block and they're beating up a Google car, they're probably going to try to flip the car next to it that somebody owns.
I have no love for anybody who is doing like a violent protest. Okay.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't at all. Saying that 9,000 LAPD officers can't handle 300 protesters is insane.
Well, I don't think that they can't handle them. I think they don't want to push up on them because they don't want to.
Then maybe that's the correct tactic. Then maybe the correct tactic is not to push up on them.
That's what they're saying. Their correct tactic is, yes, that's what.
Then why don't you let the people whose literal job is to do this for a living, who train extensively for doing this type of protest stuff, and maybe you should let them do their job?
You don't need me to tell you that. It's political. Donald Trump is going to send the Marines in, or he's going to send the National Guard in because it's a political move. That's what it is. That's
a political move that causes more violence. So therefore, it is anti-American.
Well, I hope it doesn't cause more violence.
No, it did already.
Well, yeah. Well, how many people have died?
I don't know if any have. It doesn't matter. It still escalated the violence.
None have died. Nobody has been shot.
Sir, it doesn't change the fact that it hasn't escalated the violence. It still escalated the violence, even if nobody died, regardless of any of that.
I can't argue with you there, bud. You're right. That's why I support the man. I think that he has America's best interest. I'm still hoping and praying that he does have America's best interest at heart. And I can honestly tell you, as a Trump supporter right now, I don't know if he does. I don't know what's going on. I think a lot of people are confused right now. I voted for him for basically under the basis that I didn't want Kamala Harris to be president. The Democratic committee didn't give us anybody to vote for. They put her in. We didn't have anyone else to vote for. We didn't have a choice.
But see, here's the thing with that. Here's the thing with that, sir.
We either had Donald Trump.
That's not true. But even if it was true, sir, even if it wasn't true, even if what you just said was true, which it's not. Okay, there was a convention. Anybody could have ran against Kamala Harris. They chose not to. Okay, anybody could have ran against her. They chose not to.
Because the Democratic Party is ran by donors.
No, it wasn't because of that. It was because of the amount of money that they were behind already. Okay, because all of the money from from Joe Biden could be transferred to Kamala Harris because they were on the same ticket. Okay, so they were already ahead of them on money. But regardless, let's just say, hold on.
Correct. People don't understand that.
Yeah.
And they need to, because that is actually
but hold on,
correct.
sir.
That is exactly why they put her in, and that's a fucking problem.
But sir, even if she was put in, okay, let's just say that even none of that happened.
She had to be put in,
sir. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Okay, let's just say that she was just dropped in. Okay, no process, had nothing to do with money. She was just dropped in. Okay, she was still a better candidate than Donald Trump, regardless of that. And at the end of the day, we shouldn't not vote for somebody because we don't like the process of the Democratic Party. Because the Democratic Party is a private organization who can literally just make a rule that we're going to pick our candidate by putting a bunch of people in a circle and putting a rabid possum in the middle and seeing who it bites first. And then that's our presidential candidate. They can do whatever they want. Okay. At the end of the day, we had two candidates to choose from. We had Kamala Harris, okay, which I'm not saying she was the perfect candidate. Okay. I'm not even saying she's the best candidate out of out of everybody. I'm not saying any of that. Yeah. Okay. But I do know Donald Trump was a felon.
Is what they should have.
Donald Trump was a felon and had 50 more felonies right behind him. I know that he was civilly liable for sexually assaulting someone. I know he has freaking been proven in a court of law to have defrauded a children's cancer charity. I know he brags about freaking going backstage and seeing underage girls naked. You know, I know he brags on television about
I don't know
freaking
about
sexually
that, but yeah.
assaulting people. I know he sexualizes his daughter. I know all of these things about him. Okay, I know all these
Okay.
things about Donald Trump.
And
Plus, he was already
still
president.
won because Kamala Harris ran a campaign on joy.
You
Her
know what?
whole
I want
campaign
joy
was
more than
ran
sexual
on
assault.
Joy.
I would rather have joy than sexual assault.
No, I mean,
No,
he is not a perfect person, but he never committed rape. Okay,
really?
he never.
Pure
He has
jury
never been
unanimously said that.
convicted. Well, he has never been convicted of rape. He's not. He's one of the richest men in the world. Of course, he's gonna have people, you know,
Sir, a unanimous
accusing him
jury
of
said he
certain
did it.
things.
A unanimous
Okay.
jury.
Kobe Bryant. I mean, you can go to Kobe Bryant. You can go to LeBron James. You can go to any human being that is successful in this world, and you can find them being accused of any type of sexual act with any person they spent any
Really?
type
Where's
of
Mark
time
Cuban's?
with. Huh?
Mark Cuban? I always wonder where his are. Actually, how many does Elon Musk have?
I believe there was a few articles written
How
about
many?
him
How many
sexually
does
assaulting a
Elon
couple
Musk
people.
have?
Elon Musk doesn't get a charge with it because he pays the women
You mean like
$100 million
exactly
a
what
piece
Donald
after
Trump
he
did with
gives-
the?
after he gives them kids.
Yeah, you mean like the exact same thing that Donald Trump did, where he paid off over 20 something
Yeah,
people that accused him of sexual
I'm
assault.
not trying to assassinate anyone's character here.
I am.
All I'm saying is I'm talking about the campaign that the Democrats ran.
Sir, it's not
That's why
about
they
the
lost.
campaign.
They didn't lose
Sir,
because the American people wanted Donald Trump. No matter
well,
what
then this
Fox
is what you
News wants
get.
people to think, the people didn't want Donald Trump.
This is what you get
What
then.
they didn't want Kamala Harris.
That's
more,
fine. They
is
didn't
what
want
it is.
Kamala Harris more, and now they have U.S. attacking a freaking another country, so another war in the Middle East, and we're having rising gas prices, which we're already seeing the futures go up on rising gas prices. Okay,
Yes.
we have seen record government spending.
I
Okay,
haven't seen a
more money
pipeline
in
start
foreign
back
wars.
up in the United
All
States
groceries
yet.
are still up.
Why don't we have a
Congratulations.
pipeline in the United States yet?
We have
why don't
tons
we?
of pipelines in the United States. What are you talking
Why
about?
haven't they started back up? No, I'm a pipe welder. There is no jobs. The Keystone Pipeline is not running anymore.
The Keystone Pipeline is running.
If it is, I haven't heard
The
about
Keystone
it.
Pipeline
I know
has
Joe
never stopped
Biden
running.
shut it down as soon as he got into office, and I haven't heard about Trump.
No, he
starting it back
didn't.
up yet.
You're not a pipeline welder, then, man. Come on, give me a break,
That's my trade, buddy. That's
sir. The
exactly my
Keystone
trade.
XL pipeline was shut down. The Keystone Pipeline never stopped running. The Keystone XL pipeline was shut down, and it was shut down by the Supreme Court 6 months before Biden took office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I just know that all pipeline welding in the United States got shut down to almost a quarter of what it was, and there was no jobs for anybody to run a pipeline job. There was no pipeline welders getting hired in the last couple years.
well, they all getting hired on now.
I don't know. I haven't seen any jobs. I haven't even been looking. I've been out of the trade now for 3-4 years.
I was just wondering, since I want to see if they're all back now with Trump.
Well, I don't know. I can Google it right now the same way. Is the pipeline?
Well,
running
I'm
to the United
not
States again?
Googling anything. I'm just resetting my live goal,
that's
actually.
fine.
But hey, man, no, it's been actually really good talking to you. I am going to move on to the next caller just because I've been on with you for
Yeah, no,
about
you're
a half
good.
an
I always
hour.
like talking. Hey, this is the Weldon Beaver. We always talk. We always have a good conversation, and I always like talking to you. Every time I see you on here, I like to call in and see if I can get a call. And
You're a good
I
caller,
really
man.
like talking
You're a
to
good
you
guest to have.
because you have good common sense, and you're not so. You're just not so one side or another. So I just like talking to you, man, and I hope you have a good day. I'm gonna go in here and feed my kids and go to bed, man. I hope you have a good Sunday.
Hey, I hope you do too, brother. You have a good one.
Thank-
He's a good guy. At least he doesn't call and yell and scream the whole time, so that's cool. All right. We're gonna move on to the next caller. I try to keep the calls to like under a half an hour. If not, I'll sit there and talk to people for an hour and a half and drive everybody crazy. Y'all, if you guys are on the TikTok side, you guys get that thing up to 50,000 likes. I really appreciate you. If you guys are on the YouTube side, if you guys go hit that like button, I really appreciate that. Grace, thank you so much for the super chat. Said thanks for saying the thank you for saying the facts. I really appreciate that, Grace. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Neville says, how do I call? It's not available. Sorry, I don't have like this call waiting system or anything. I just put it on do not disturb, and then when I go to the next caller, I turn it on. If you're the first person to answer that I answer the phone for, then you get to talk. I don't have some expensive system, man. It's just me here at my computer. So, Stacy, I would like to know which world leader the guest thinks respects Trump more than Biden. I'd really like to know that too. Because I haven't seen one yet. I sure as hell haven't seen one yet. Stacy, thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat. It really means a lot to me. And Neville says, Paulie ended the Obama nuclear peace deal. Yes, Donald Trump did end the Iran nuclear deal. The one that Donald Trump said he would never get done, and he did. And then Donald Trump pulled us out of that deal. And now he's trying to get us back in that deal through this. So ironic how we just come full circle on that. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you guys would like support, I do have super chats open on YouTube. Also, why am I saying all the time? On TikTok, I do have my sub goal going on over here. I'd love to get this thing back up to 50. That'd be really cool. Plus, there's some really like embarrassing AI photos of me for emotes over there. So if you guys want to do that, and also as always, I do have my pay links in my bio. So that's a great way to do it. Also, I'm posting this one last super chat just because it was from the last guest, the Welding Beaver, who said, "Good talk, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for having the good conversation with me." All right, we're going to open up these phone lines and keep this thing going. I'll actually leave that up for a second. I liked him. All right, we're going to open up these phone lines, keep this thing going. So if you support Trump, go ahead and call that number and we'll keep this thing going. Hello, welcome to the live. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty fine.
Awesome. How old are you?
19.
Awesome. What year were you born? Where you were born? You don't know? All right. Well, sorry. Hi, welcome to the live. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I am 35.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Huh? What was that? Sorry.
Do you support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
You know, the reason why I support Trump, honestly, is because he says how it is. In my opinion, says exactly how it is, how it's going to go, everything that's going to happen. You know, I haven't seen really like we can say that, oh, he's a criminal, he's done this and he's done that, but it's everyone in the U.S. has broken the law at one point in their life. Rich, poor, whatever. It's just not. I'm not saying that's an excuse. I support him based on what he's doing in L.A. and using the military in L.A. And I know everyone's like, well, the LAPD says they don't need help. Okay, that a city said they don't need help.
Sir,
well,
I don't.
Has no.
Sir,
huh?
Can you just please? Well, first, I want to go back to something that you said. How do you think that 9,000 LAPD? First of all, let me ask you just a very simple question because I've already gone over this with the last guy. I want to ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
When in the history of like ever do people showing up with guns de-escalate a situation?
I can think of many situations.
Sure, tell me one.
Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korean War.
I'm sorry. Those are all examples of how people with guns started a war. That's an escalation.
But you said people showing up with guns.
Yeah, so before that, they were just countries without guns showing up, right? And everybody was calm and peaceful. And then the peoples with the guns showed up, and then that escalated it to a war. So all of those things went from nobody with guns being there to a war, therefore an escalation.
Sure, you can look at World War II. The Nazi Party wasn't considered violent or anything until Hitler decided to send in weapons. So,
and then what happened?
Then World War II kicked off.
Right. So therefore, the guys with guns showing up made things turn into a war.
hold on. LA. You want to look at LA? Yeah, it was peaceful until one privately owned car, one privately owned business, one privately owned any amount of property was damaged during a protest. Then it is no longer peaceful. It is thus violent, and violence must be used to control violence.
Awesome. So there was a car that got that caught on fire not too far from my house out here in Florida. Should we send in the LAPD or send in the National Guard? I mean,
Well, LAPD first. And
no. Fuck them. Like, I think there was a car that got caught on fire out in Florida. I think we should just send in the National Guard immediately. Like, let's not worry about the fact that it's just, one car. It's 2 cars or 3 cars. I don't think the police can handle doing their job, right? And just handling slight things like a car being set on fire. I think we should. Why do we even have the police, to be completely honest with you?
Can I ask you a question?
Hold on, sir. I'm working something out in my head right now. I'm trying to figure out why we even have the police. Because if we have the police, and the police's job is to keep the peace, stuff like that, and keep law and order, and things like vandalism and other things like that. If things like vandalism and stuff, the police can't handle because somebody ruined a car or broke a window, and we need the National Guard for all of those things. I'm thinking that maybe we just don't need the police anymore. Maybe we should just go to a full military state and implement martial law because simple vandalism is now out of the ability of 9,000 police officers.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Wasn't it during the Biden administration that everyone was saying defund the police?
Yes.
Okay, so if the police department is defunded, who would come in next?
Yeah,
would it be the National Guard, or is it going to be
defund the police?
watch?
Doesn't mean there's no more police. You know that, right?
Yeah, but you're saying defunding the police does so much against their training. There's so much against the equipment that they can be able to use. So now we're saying, okay, well now.
So what does defund the police mean?
The police can happen.
So what does defund the police mean?
Defunding the police means taking away their money, taking away the stuff that they can utilize to control situations.
Wrong. That's not what it means.
Become uncontrollable.
Yeah. So what does
defund the police mean to you?
It's not what it means to me. It's what it means, and I'm going to explain it to you. Okay. So what defund the police is a reform of the police system. It's saying that not every single thing requires a guy to show up with. Sir. I am explaining it to you, sir. I'm still talking. Thank you. So what it means is a reform of the police. It means that not every single time that something happens in the United States that we need people to show up with guns. Literally exactly what I'm telling you. It's that sometimes, okay, there are different situations that the police aren't exactly freaking equipped to handle, right? Sometimes they might need a social worker. Sometimes they might need a mental health person, right? That every time showing up with a gun is not always the best. So we should take some of the extra funding that goes to things like maybe like a tank in a rural area, right? And put that more towards social work and things that are used to de-escalate the situation, okay? But it also recognizes that there are times when the police is necessary. Like when violence is happening or there's a threat to society, you need someone with a gun to show up. And then it actually is important for the police to be well-trained and be good at their job. It's not saying that there's no more police or that we shouldn't have the police to deal with situations, i.e. like someone setting a car on fire, which could be dangerous to other people. It's just saying that not every single instance requires someone with a gun to show up.
I would say not just a random person with a gun, a trained professional with a gun, yeah, every time. Domestic violence is, cops go into that situation not knowing what's going on. Protesters, they don't know what's going on.
Gotcha, sir. Let me ask you a question. So my little brother is a paranoid. Okay. Are you familiar with paranoid schizophrenia?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, it's a very sad disease. Okay, he gets very paranoid at things.
I am sure it is.
Yeah, and I've
seen videos about it, but I don't know much about it myself.
And so it puts in a very perpetual cycle, right? So usually what happens is they're taking medication, but they get paranoid about the medication, right? Because that's their mental illness, so they stop taking their medication, and it usually ends up with it usually starts snowballing to a spot where they end up committing small levels of crime, i.e. At one point, my little brother was caught, butt naked running down the streets of Los Angeles. Okay? By the police.
Okay, would I say an officer... needs to pull his gun in that situation? No.
No, all that's saying
But what I
is
say is-
all that's saying it. Like, and sorry, we're gonna get there in a second, okay? And I think that you're on the same page with me, so I just don't want to jump to the end just quite yet, okay? But we'll get there really quickly, okay? But my little brother could at some point like just kind of spaz out, like maybe make some type of like what could be considered an aggressive move, right? And the police are, obviously there to defend themselves. They're obviously there to, I don't want the police hurt either, right? That's horrible.
Yeah,
But-
no one wants to get hurt.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is having somebody there that's a mental health expert that can understand my little brother's diagnosis, right? That can understand that even though he might be making moves that might seem aggressive to normal people, it's not something that's actually aggressive where he's actually trying to hurt someone. Right. And having that understanding
understand that.
is really important. So that's what Defund the Police is saying is that, hey, I don't want my little brother to end up dead. Okay. I don't.
I can
And so,
understand that.
or anybody else's little brother or any other member of their family. So I think that it's important to also have a section that's mental health experts also. Okay. That's all it is. All right. Is that my
No.
little brother, because of his mental health, might make a reaction to somebody with a that shows up with a weapon or seems like intimidating in a very negative way, and then nobody's happy, right? The police might shoot him thinking that he's a threat, and then the police officer has to deal with all of that, right? That police officer has to go to like desk duty for a bit to be mentally evaluated and all that sort of stuff for firing at or killing another human being. And then I lost my little brother. It's not good for anybody, and it's not good for the police officers or the police department or the public safety. It's not good for anybody.
I can understand what you're saying. I can completely understand what you're saying. But can I compare this in another situation?
Sure.
Imagine you're driving down the interstate and you see an erratic driver, right?
Mhm.
They're swerving, they're cutting off people, they're going crazy. Are you going to become an offensive driver or a defensive driver? You only have a couple split seconds to make a decision, right?
If somebody's swerving
Those
on the
split
road,
seconds-
I'm going to get out of their way.
But yeah, you'll become defensive, right?
Sure. I'm not a police
Same with
officer.
an officer is going to become defensive in that situation, and he only has split seconds to make a decision.
Sir,
You
I don't know what that
can't-
has to do
an
with anything.
officer- No, but hear me out. An officer dealing with a mentally ill person has, he only has split seconds. That's completely different than dealing with a group of protesters who are lighting vehicles on fire, throwing rocks. And anyone that says that nobody in LA has done that is clearly
I'm not saying that
seeing
nobody has
what's
done
going
that. I'm saying
I'm not
that's what the
saying it's
police is for.
everyone.
Sir, that's what the
I'm
police
not
is
saying
for.
it's everyone.
Do you disagree that that's what the police is for?
I do and I don't, because you say there's 9,000 sworn officers. How many of those sworn officers are actually on active duty?
There are 9,000 active sworn officers, and that does not include LA counties. That does not include.
Active.
That is active, and that does not include LA County sheriffs or California State Police.
How many people live in LA?
I don't know
What is the
number.
population of LA?
7 million or something.
So
I don't know exactly.
9,000 officers have to deal with 7 million people.
Sir.
Emergencies happening
Sir.
every day that
Sir.
they have to respond to, car crashes,
Yeah.
robberies, shootings, other than the protest. You're
Mhm.
telling me 9,000 can handle 7 million.
Sir, again, this isn't including LA County sheriffs. Okay, this isn't including California State Police.
Okay.
This isn't including
Okay,
all of the.
but the-
Sir, hold on. This isn't including.
They cover
Sir,
the whole state.
sir, this is also
The
not
sheriff's
including.
department covers the outlining.
Sir, this is also not including. Okay, the little tiny borough police departments that are around the surrounding areas. Not to mention that the police can also call in other police officers from the surrounding areas. Okay, but here's what it does tell me: if these 9,000 police officers are able to do this every single day, and guess what? Have you ever been or lived in LA?
I don't go to LA. I've been to LA a couple of times. It is one of the worst cities I've ever
Okay.
been to.
So I grew up just south of Los Angeles. Okay, like my grandma lived there. A lot of my family lived there. I grew up in a county just Riverside County, which is just south of it. Okay.
Okay. I've been through Riverside County.
Someone setting a car on fire or breaking a window or breaking into stores, even all at the same time, is not anything abnormal for the LA Police Department. Okay. These things that you're talking about throwing rocks at people or like all of this stuff, right? None of this is abnormal for the Los Angeles Police Department. This is all stuff they deal with all the fucking
So
time.
that would be that. So we're saying that's normal. That's normal behavior from.
I'm not saying it's normal behavior.
American
I'm saying
is to throw a rock.
I'm not saying that's normal behavior. What I'm saying is
that's normal.
The LAPD.
Unless you're saying it's a protest,
I'm not saying it's normal,
normal,
sir. Let me get to the point, and maybe you can understand it. Who do you think is more likely to be able to understand the situation on the ground and to be able to make the correct decision on what the correct level of force is? The LAPD, which deals with this all the time, who is specifically trained in exactly this, or a president 3,000 miles away?
It's insane.
Maybe not the president, but I would definitely say the National Guard and the Marines are definitely way more trained than the LAPD.
No, they're not. Actually, at one point, the LAPD was having to protect the National Guard.
I spent 9 years in the Marine Corps, and I can tell you, I know that we are more highly trained than the LAPD.
In policing?
In policing, riot...
Or in urban warfare?
We have riot control. We have auxiliary security forces.
Let's not even get to the fact that Donald Trump's not even allowed to do that.
What is the Marine Corps doing? What is the Marine Corps doing in LA? They are protecting federal buildings.
Sir, it is illegal for him to deploy the Marines. I don't know why we're having this conversation. We were talking about the National Guard.
Deploy the United States Marines anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world, but not in the U.S. unless he invokes the Insurrection Act.
That's part of the world, is it not?
He invokes the Insurrection
Act. Is it not?
Sir, unless he invokes the Insurrection Act, he is not allowed to deploy the Marines into the United States.
He is allowed to use the Marines for any situation he
That is not true. That is 1,000% legal.
Approval.
That is 1,000% illegal.
Congressional approval. You need to look it up.
I have looked it up, sir.
He can use
Sir, what's the Insurrection Act?
I'm going to look it up.
Well, yes, you should look up the Insurrection Act because the Insurrection Act is what allows the president to deploy the Marines stateside. Only under those conditions is he allowed to deploy the Marine Corps stateside.
No.
He did not invoke the Insurrection Act. Okay? Therefore, that is illegal. We were talking about the National Guard because the National Guard, Donald Trump... Sir, I am in the middle of a sentence. Please shut the fuck up.
You're getting upset over nothing.
No, I'm getting annoyed because you're not very good at freaking having a conversation like an adult. And I'm starting to have to treat you like a child, and I don't like doing that to other human beings. We were talking about the National Guard because the president does have the authority to federalize and deploy the National Guard. Anywhere in the United States, that's literally what they're for. Okay? They're for being able to do that. They're for pushing in and doing riots or doing drug interdiction or forest fires or natural disasters. That's what they're there for. Okay? The active duty military is to go fight wars overseas. And there are only very specific circumstances under our laws where the active duty is able to do that. And this was not one of them.
Have you ever taken an oath as a service member?
Yes, I have. I'm wondering the same thing about you because you don't seem to be holding up to yours very much.
To protect our country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Right?
I'm sorry. It seems like you're forgetting the first part of it.
Do you know the definition of terrorism?
You're forgetting the first part of it.
Is to cause fear.
What's the first part of your oath, sir? What's the first part of your oath?
Oh my gosh, man, you're not listening.
Because you skipped the important part of the oath to get to the you skipped the important part of the oath to get to the part that you wanted. How about you start at the beginning? Or do you need some help?
I don't need any help.
Then what's the beginning of your oath?
I do solemnly swear to support and defend this country from all enemies,
not
foreign
this country.
And domestic.
Not this country. What does your oath say?
The United States.
Wrong. Try again. You don't even know your oath? I swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The Constitution, what the Constitution says. Okay, not what the president says, not some arbitrary thing. The Constitution. Okay, and the
From
Constitution,
all enemies, foreign and domestic.
correct, foreign and domestic. So when you have a president of the United States who is breaking the Constitution,
for political or ideological movement, that is terrorism.
awesome. So where in the Constitution does
terrorism.
it say? Where in the Constitution does it say you can't set a car
That's
on
the
fire?
definition of terrorism. So
Where-
that makes you a domestic
What's the
terrorism,
I'm sorry.
right?
You're
So
saying that setting a
makes
car on
an
fire is
enemy
terrorism?
domestic.
So you're saying that the Philadelphia Eagles fans committed terrorism after they won the Super Bowl?
For an ideological movement.
Yeah,
or political movement,
an
yes,
ideological
it
movement like
is
the
terrorism.
like them winning the Super Bowl. So you're saying that the
Sure,
Philadelphia
yeah, then they
Eagles
should have gone in.
committed terrorism because they set a car on fire after the Super Bowl. That is terrorism.
It is terrorism then. Under the definition of terrorism, that would be terrorism. I agree with you on that. That would be terrorism.
Okay, cool. If you agree that that's terrorism, then you also agree that January 6th was a terrorist act, and so therefore you should be furious at the fact that Donald Trump pardoned all those people.
Yeah. I don't think storming our Capitol was a good idea.
Right. And
for
so tell
anything.
me how much you cannot
It didn't prove
stand Donald
anything.
Trump because he pardoned all those January 6th terrorists.
It's just like Biden pardoning
We're not
his
talking about
fucking
Biden.
son.
Well, I'm not talking about Biden. I want you to tell me I cannot stand Donald Trump because he pardoned all of those January 6th terrorists. I want you to tell me that. Since you apparently think that freaking doing any sort of violence like this is an act of terror, then you should be furious at the president of the United States for for pardoning all of those terrorists because you hate terrorists so much, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, say it. Show me your oath. Say it.
Yeah, I will say any president who pardons criminals, murderers, rapists, anything like that. Yeah.
No, the
I'm against them.
terrorist of January 6th.
I'll admit it. If you can admit that the LA riots are terrorism. January, they were terrorists. Now,
They're not terrorists.
LA
okay?
would be terrorists.
They're not terrorists. That is a ridiculous thing. Like that is a
Yes, they are.
ridiculous statement to even say. Okay.
So now you're saying,
stop.
now that
Stop. They're not
violent.
terrorists.
No, it's acceptable.
I'm not calling the
Insane.
January 6th people terrorists. I'm not saying that. Okay. You're saying
You
that.
just
This is
asked me to
yours.
say it, then I did.
Yeah, because it's consistent with your logic, not with mine. Okay.
So what would you say they are?
Okay,
They're
that
peaceful?
not with my. You had people that were protesting, and whenever you have a group of protesters, when you have protests and stuff like that, there is a certain level of people that are agitators. There are a certain level of people that commit violent acts. There are certain levels of people that do all sorts of bad things. That does not mean that the entire thing was a terrorist operation.
Same with January 6th.
Sir, we're not talking about January 6th. I was just trying to see if you would stay consistent, which you refused to call them terrorists. All you would say was, yeah.
I did
you
just call them terrorists,
No, you
did I
did.
not?
No, you just said, yeah. Okay, don't even try to play with me. Okay, don't even try to play with me right now. All right. This
did
is
just
not
call them
exact.
terrorists.
Sir, they are not terrorists. There was a certain level of violence, and do I condemn that violence 100%? That violence is absolutely horrible, okay? But saying that A, the LAPD can't handle it, and B, that the LAPD isn't fucking smart enough to realize when they can't handle it, okay? And be able to call in their own National Guard, because remember
I
that.
love-
remember
everyone didn't love the police,
remember
now
that
it's all the police can handle,
remember
because now
that
there's big boys.
Shh.
Now
Remember
there's big boys. There's big boys coming in there. Now they're like,
Oh, are you a
afraid.
big
There's
boy?
Big boys coming
Are
in
you
there.
a big boy? Yeah. Again,
Yeah, I was
the California
one for a
has the
while.
ability to deploy their own National Guard. So saying not only is the LAPD not capable
And
of handling,
DeSantis can't-
get the fuck off my live. Jesus Christ, you are a full fucking child. Jesus Christ. Saying the LAPD can't handle it and then they don't even also have the ability in order to freaking actually fucking deploy their own National Guard? Are you fucking serious? Stop. They're terrorists. They needed active duty Marines. Dude, I get it. You think that you're a big boy. Okay, you're not. Okay? You're not. Stop. You're sad. Goodness gracious. I can't believe I got him to admit that. That'll be a clip tomorrow. Y'all can check that out on my YouTube page. Anyways, John Gar, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Just be honest, Paul. You got TDS, and your way of dealing with it is arguing with smart citizens that voted for Trump. Yep, John, you got me. You got me, bud. Hands down. Hands down. Oh, John, again, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Is scared to debate Charlie Kirk. You know what's funny? I was actually scrolling on whatever social media site, and I watched Charlie Kirk get absolutely dog walked by Dean Withers. And I laughed so hard.
It's insane.
I laughed so hard. Oh my goodness. But thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. Asana says, this just says this is a super chat for the last guy super chatting. It just says you're a sad man. Oh, that's funny. I see it. Thank you so much for the super chat. And Meow says, good points, LOL. Thank you so much for the 999 super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. Dude, y'all's obsession with Charlie Kirk is wild. That dude gets dog walked so hard all the time. It's kind of sad. Oh, it's kind of sad. It's really funny, though. All right. Dude, I'm telling you guys, pick a better hero. Pick a better hero. All right? Charlie Kirk is not it. Find someone better. I'm gonna leave this chat up there. I don't care how much it was paid for. This is just great. Yeah, that's why Charlie Kirk only debates undergrads. That's exactly why. All right, again, y'all, if you guys would like to support, I do have super chats open on YouTube, and as you guys just saw, I'll put them up on the screen. Have fun with them. Y'all, if you guys are on the YouTube side, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do this every single day except for Thursday on my new schedule, and then we're going back to during the week. So it should be starting around 7:30 every single night Central Time. So I'll see you guys then, hopefully. We're going to move on to one more caller. Again, if you guys would like support, subbing on TikTok is really awesome, or gifting subs. I did make them as cheap as humanly possible since I'm on my backup account, just to have some more fun with it, and I get some cool emotes on there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Bro, Charlie Kirk gets dog walked by freshmen. He gets dog walked by freshmen, bro. Hello?
Ollie Politics. Hi.
Hi.
You're asking the question if who supports Trump?
I'm sorry, do I know
and
you?
Why? Hello?
Do I know you?
No, sir. This is the first time I found you.
You sound like Rich Poor. I don't like it. Hello?
Oh my gosh, I'm really happy I got on. It's Neville. I left some super chats for your thing.
Hold on. Who are you?
Oh, my name's Neville. I was watching your stream.
Oh, Neville. Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah. Awesome. Great to be talking with you. I've been watching your stream for a while. I'm not a Trump supporter. I actually can't stand him, but I actually wanted to say something really quickly.
Go ahead, man. Do your thing.
Okay, so something that I find, I've actually been debating Trump supporters on like Discord and everything for like about a year now for the election. And like one thing I decided to do was, because they always talk about how great Trump's economy was, how amazing it is that I took every president from Truman all the way to Biden's last year, and I took all the economic data economists said to look at, GDP, inflation rates, like wage growth, all this stuff. Donald Trump had some of the lowest scores of any president in American history.
Yep.
Yeah, like he literally, like nothing got better under his economy. The thing they say is like the unemployment rate was so low, but he started at like the historic low of 4.5 and then brought it down to like 3.8 at its lowest. So there's a 1 point move for unemployment, whereas Obama started with like a 10% and then moved it to a 4.5.
Wow, that's some good data. I would love to see that data.
Yeah, if you have an email, I'll send it to you. But I basically compiled like literally like metadata on this, and I just looked at every single president and how it changed. And Donald Trump was one of the least effective presidents on the economy we've ever had. It's actually pathetic.
You said you debate on Discord, right?
Yeah.
Well, I have a Discord channel. It's in my link tree. I have a Discord server. I actually just erased my old one and just started a new one 2 days ago. Funny enough. But yeah, come on. If you want to join the Discord server, you can come in there. I'd love to message you about the data. And if you're debating on Discord, maybe I'd like to check one out or see what you got going on over there. Because I've never seen a debate on Discord.
Absolutely. Yeah, I will definitely do that. Anyway, get to your callers. Just really wanted to tell you that because I just think it's amazing. So if you just look like for all the Trump supporters on that are calling, talking about how like, oh, Paul, I don't know what he's talking about. Go look up his economic data. Go look up the history of whatever thing you're talking about, like the Iran deal. Trump fucked up the Iran deal, and that's what caused this problem to happen. Every single thing, there's always some caveat that Trump isn't telling them, and they just don't believe it.
Yep, absolutely, every single time. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in here. I look forward to talking to you on Discord, man.
Yeah, you take care.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, like I said, I just restarted my my Discord channel. Like I said, I just shut down my old one literally yesterday. New one is up and running. There is like a verification process and all that sort of stuff now, and there's special spots for subs and special spots for other creators. So if you're a creator out there and I recognize you, I'll give you a creator tag. You got some cool stuff going on like that. So make sure you check out the Discord. I said it's in my link tree in my bio of both my TikTok and my YouTube, but I'm streaming on both of them right now. So make sure you guys are checking that out. It's really cool stuff. And I usually put in I'll usually chat in there, even though I'm really bad at chatting right now, even because people have been talking in my chat the entire time I've been live, and I have missed it because I haven't been paying attention. So sometimes I get bad during that, but I am trying to get better at responding. So I really appreciate that. So make sure you guys join. It's really fun over there, and there's some really cool people over there that have been with me for a long time. Nathaniel, thank you so much. Says hi from Sweden. Like your live. I really appreciate that. I don't know what that currency is. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm guessing it's whatever Sweden's is. So, but thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. That's really awesome and really, really sweet of you. That really means a lot. I appreciate that. And Anon Amiss says, we'll never understand why anyone can support such an obvious criminal. He's literally convicted. Like, it's wild. Like, and people are like, I don't know why he does crazy stuff. It's like, because you voted in a criminal. Vote in a clown, you get a circus. What were you expecting? Like, give me a break over here, dude. And Jumpstart J said, keep spreading the truth. We deal in objective facts over here. Only in objective facts. So I don't want to hear your anecdotes or your ad homs. Okay? Only objective facts. That's what we're living in over here. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. It really does mean a lot to me to help me to keep doing this every single day. So I really appreciate you guys. Oh my goodness. All right, we're going to take another caller. I might have time for like one, maybe two more. I do have to get to the basketball game eventually. Hello?
Hi, is this the show?
It is. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Were you reborn? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty nice. How about you?
Doing good. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Were you reborn?
2003.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
Okay, because, wait, I just want to ask you this one question. Are you religious, like Christian or anything?
I only worship Rupert.
Oh, okay. Okay, so from a Christian point of view, in Kamala Harris, like when she was speaking, she said you're at the wrong rally and started like being mean to a bunch of religious people. So I don't understand.
That's actually not what happened.
That. Then what happened? Because from what I saw,
yeah, they made a comment about being they were like booing Trump supporters or something like that, and she said go to the other rally, and then somebody changed it around to make it a religious thing to make it bad, but it actually wasn't that. I was watching it live.
Oh, okay. So I want to ask you this: how about abortions? Are you do you want the abortion laws to ban it or?
No, I want women to be able to make decisions on their own without me or you or our government. Sorry, if you guys haven't met Rupert, this is Rupert. That you, me, or our government making decisions on their bodies for them.
Okay, but the baby that's in the body is its own person, right?
What do you define as a person?
Well, not on.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Just just like a living being, because like the living.
Yeah, I mean, it's a living being. So is an onion, technically, I think. Grass is
Well,
living.
that
Oh my gosh. So I told you guys in my Discord that I went to Repticon where they had like they had a bunch of snakes and like, so first of all, I don't do snakes. Snakes is like not my thing, but they had Venus flytraps there, which is super cool. And I realized I don't know something. All right. And I really need to know something like, how does maybe I need to look it up later. I said I was going to look it up. I told Ari I was going to look it up and I didn't. I need to know how like a Venus flytrap like I know how it traps the fly, right? But I don't know how it like I'm going to say digests it, but that doesn't sound right either. How does it gain nutrients from absorbs, dissolve? I need to look this up later. Anyways, sorry, you were saying something. I literally just forgot what you were talking about. Sorry, it was something about abortion. What were you saying?
Yeah, so it's like, bro. Okay, hold on. Let's gonna skip this abortion topic. How about the Second Amendment and like, because I heard that Kamala Harris went to like get rid of weapons or like the Second Amendment.
She's literally a proud and talks about it gun owner, and her vice president was literally the congressional sharpshooter. All right, goodbye. I know, Robert. I have 10 minutes. China says U.S. attack on Iran Iran has damaged its credibility. That was just reported by Reuters. Jeffrey, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Jeffrey. That means a lot. It's a secret enzyme that lets it dissolve its prey for digestion. Interesting. I have to research stuff like this. It's going to bother me if I don't. However, I also am very forgetful. All right, phone lines are back open. I'm also very forgetful. Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, man. Just fell on your stream and just wanted to talk.
Awesome. Well, welcome in. Y'all, make sure if you guys are on the TikTok side, you hit that follow button. If you're on the YouTube side, you hit that subscribe button. We do this every day but Thursday. And remember also on my TikTok, this is my backup account, so you guys might think you're following it and you're not. So just make sure you're checking that out too. All right. So why do you support Trump?
Well, it's not so much the support of Trump that I'm ready to defend, but let me ask you. So you were against the bombing of Iran, correct?
I saw no reason for the U.S. to get involved. No.
Okay. Well, if you haven't realized by now, Trump's a man of his word. He gave them 60 days to come to the table and talk, because even Russia is saying we don't want Iran having a nuclear bomb. Trump gave them 60 days. He's a man of his word. But let me ask you something. What would have happened if one of those bombs killed an American citizen in Iran? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, so first of all, the director of national intelligence, who agrees with almost every intelligence across the planet, said that Iran was not building a nuclear bomb, nor were they anywhere near it.
Yeah, he's probably one of the 51 intelligence agencies that said that Trump colluded with Russia. And you probably
there actually is valid proof that not Trump himself, but Trump's campaign actually did collude with Russia.
Okay.
I don't know about Trump. I truly.
Now we're in semantics.
It's not semantics, sir. There was we read.
Trump.
Sir. Please stop talking over me. You are going to be my last caller, and I have zero problem ending this thing so fucking fast. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, there was all the reports with all of the evidence that members of the Trump organization and Trump's campaign did collude with Russia. Whether Trump did or not, I'm not sure. That wasn't in there, okay? But we do have some evidence of that, okay? But no, this is nothing to do with anything like that, because we're not talking about an internal domestic policy of the United States. We're talking about an international intelligence gathering that said they were nowhere near creating a nuclear bomb. So when you say, oh, well, what if one of those bombs hit the U.S.? One of those bombs that didn't exist and was not shown to exist, and I've still seen no evidence that it existed?
But you didn't answer my question though. Like, what would have happened if one of those bombs that landed in Iran killed an American citizen?
One of the bombs that landed in Iran killed an American citizen. That would have been horrific.
Yeah. Well, what should have happened to Trump if that happened?
I don't know, sir. I'm not trying to make a
Well, I'm
comparison.
just
I
saying,
probably
like, I'm just
probably
saying,
nothing, sir.
Obama.
If he didn't have the ability to like know that there was an American citizen there, or he had the ability, I mean, as the commander in chief, to make a target assessment to where if he thinks that the life of one is going to save many other people, then he has the ability, just like any other military commander, to make that decision. So that would have been horrific, but that's not anything abnormal for something going on in the military.
Right. So that was a strategic bombing. It desecrated their nuclear facilities. Why did Obama bomb Iran or bomb Yemen? That killed an American citizen. Like the left, you guys.
Sir, I already
you guys
just
want due process.
Did you not hear
You
that
guys
I
want
just
due
answered,
process
sir?
for illegal citizens.
Sir, did you not hear that I
Why
answered your
not
question before you made the comment?
You didn't
I
even
already
hear my
explained why an American citizen could end up being killed during a bombing campaign, and I explained that very, very clearly prior to you saying that about Obama, and I did that really, like, I thought I did it very eloquently.
Oh, very eloquent, but it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's his due process? And why Yemen? What's
Sir, I already
what's the threat to
explained
America
this to
from
you.
Yemen?
What are you talking about?
He bombed Yemen. That
Yes, sir. I already
Yeah.
explained that just like any other military commander, they have the ability to make damage risk assessment when it's coming to American citizens and all sorts of other people.
It's
Okay, there's a
insane.
possibility that they
Yeah.
didn't know that they were there, and there's also a possibility that even if they did know that they were there, if they thought that the bombing of it that would kill one American citizen would save other American troops, then they have the flexibility to be able to do that. I'm not going to judge every single like little tiny thing when it comes to a president.
Right.
I'm not judging
on the right
I'm
now.
not judging Donald Trump's ability on like whether they hit the target or whether there was small collateral damage within that target that could have been avoided. I am, however, judging the entire point of the attack as a whole.
Gotcha. I just want to point out one more thing before I let you go. I noticed like 6 or 7 callers ago, like you threw in his face, like one of Trump's
How long have you been
policies being
listening?
Bernie Sanders. No, but he that was a Bernie Sanders policy. Like, that's his
Bro,
favorite
Bernie,
policy.
that was an hour and a half ago. How long have you been listening,
That's how
bro?
long I've been trying to call you.
Bro, we got a fan over here. W's in the chat for the fan, bro.
Yo,
I had forgotten that
bro, I'm
conversation
trying.
even
I'm
happened.
trying,
Holy
bro.
shit.
Bro, and it's so funny, it's so ironic that you point out Bernie Sanders, somebody that your own party pushed out.
I'm not a Democrat, so it's not my own party.
Okay, well, the left then.
Well, the left didn't push Bernie Sanders out. The left very much liked
Yes,
Bernie
they
Sanders.
did.
The Democratic
Oh,
Party did pushed him out. And again, I have no loyalty or fealty to the Democratic Party. Oh, and he's gone. I don't think that worked out the way that he wanted it to work out. Queen, why are you coming back with that shit? Oh, all right. Nathaniels, thank you so much. It's a lie. Israel has to lie about Iran having nukes for years. Trump on Israel's side who kills kids and women for no reason. 100%. He had to lie about the whole thing. They've been saying that Iran. I don't know why I keep saying Iran. Iran. I think it's because as a kid I said Iran. I learned how to pronounce it better, but I still slip back into it. It's horribly bad for me to do. I need to correct myself and I need to be better. But they've been saying Iran has nuclear weapons since 1992. That they pull the entire Donald Trump thing. He's 2 weeks away. He's 2 weeks away. He's 2 weeks away. Always 2 weeks away. It's just always something. They saw there was a weakness within Iran, and they decided to attack the weakness. It had nothing to do with nuclear weapons. I don't know. All right, anyways, y'all. So that's 9 minutes short of 2 hours again. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I will be back on tomorrow around 7:30 Central Time. So it'll be a later night tomorrow because my work schedule's changing. So I'll see you guys then. Make sure you join the Discord. Make sure you come on in. And also, and when you go in the Discord, there's a verification process. It's okay. Just verify. It takes like 2 seconds. Don't trip out. People just leave. I don't know why you guys do that whenever I ask for that. Hope you all have a wonderful night. Just me, what's going on, man? Thank you so much. Hey, y'all have a wonderful night. I'll be here again, like I said, tomorrow. Love you guys. Have a wonderful evening, all right? Bye.